Hello everyone, Ezek here. Imagine walking into Best Buy. A $2,000 TV is marked down to $50. You'd buy 3, right? But pause. You are imagining a fantasy world where prices crash but your paycheck stays the same. That world does not exist. Prices didn't drop because of a holiday sale. They dropped because the economy is bleeding to death. You can't have the discount without a disaster. The day you get the $50 TV is the same day you get the layoff notice from Deflation. What is deflation? Deflation is not a discount. It is a sustained, generalized drop in the price of everything: labor, raw materials, assets, goods, and even your wages. If you watched our inflation video, you know that in that scenario, your money melts like ice. In deflation, your money hardens into a brick. It buys more tomorrow than it does today. If prices are falling 5% a year, your cash in a shoebox is effectively earning a 5% return, risk-free, tax-free. This sounds good, but it triggers a psychological trap. If your cash gains value by sitting in a safe, you stop spending it. When half a country stops spending, it becomes a depression. How does deflation happen? There are mainly 3 ways deflation can happen. Number 1, increasing supply. In 2014, American drillers unlocked the code to fracking. They flooded the global market with millions of new barrels of oil. The world was drowning in crude oil. The price crashed from $100 a barrel to under $30. This is good deflation. Technology unlocked massive supply, and you paid less at the pump. Number 2, decreasing demand. In 2008, the US housing market didn't just slow down, it froze. When prices started falling, buyers vanished. No one wanted to buy a house today if it was going to be worth $20,000 less tomorrow. This is the phrase, "don't catch a falling knife." Demand hit zero. There were 4 million unsold homes sitting on the market. Prices plummeted 33% nationally. That is a pure demand shock. Number 3, decreasing money supply. For the money supply, look at 1930. Back then, before deposit insurance existed, if a bank failed, your money was gone forever. Over 3 years, 9,000 US banks collapsed. When they died, the deposits inside them simply vanished from the economy. The total supply of US dollars dropped by 30%, with 30% less cash chasing the same amount of goods. Prices had to crash. Is deflation bad? You might think, great, my renovation is cheaper. But you are missing the second half of the equation. Consider the followings. You waited 6 months to save money on lumber. Your contractor, Joe the Builder, gets 0 calls in October. His revenue drops 40%. Joe cannot pay his overhead. He doesn't just cut his own pay, he fires his 2 carpenters. Those carpenters now have 0 income. They cancel their gym memberships and stop eating out. The local gym and the diner lose customers. They fire their staff. The expectation of lower prices destroys the wages needed to buy the goods. You saved $5,000 on a kitchen, but your neighbor lost his job. During the Great Depression, deflation hit 10%. From 1932 until 1940, dairy farmers in Wisconsin poured thousands of gallons of fresh milk onto the ground. They did this while people in the cities were starving. Why? It's for 2 reasons. 1, shipping it cost more than the milk was worth, and 2, it was a desperate protest to create scarcity and force prices up. The market supply chain broke. It was mathematically cheaper to destroy food than to sell it. Today, you don't need cheaper milk to go broke. You just need cheaper assets. Meet venture capitalist Vic. Vic owns $10 million in commercial real estate. Interest rates rise. The economy slows down, tenants stop paying rent, his buildings are now worth $5 million. Vic still has cash, but he feels poor. This is the wealth effect. Vic cancels the plan for a new office tower. The steel mill loses the order. The steelworker gets laid off. The debt bomb. If you owe $300,000 on a house, in inflation your wage goes up, so the debt gets easier to pay. Deflation makes debt heavier, because in deflation your wage goes down, but the debt stays fixed at $300,000. Every month, the loan takes a larger percentage of your paycheck. This triggers mass defaults. When the borrowers go broke, the banks go broke. How to control deflation? The government cannot fix deflation by asking nicely. They have to break the psychology of hoarding. Usually, the Fed lowers interest rates to encourage borrowing, but in deflation, rates hit 0%. You can't go lower. This is called pushing on a string. Even at 0%, scared people don't borrow money. So, the government uses the emergency tools, quantitative easing. Since banks won't lend, the Federal Reserve creates new digital money out of thin air. They use it to buy government bonds from the banks. The goal is to force so much cash into the banking system that banks have to lend it out somewhere, anywhere, just to get a return. The fiscal bypass, helicopter money. If the banks are still too scared to lend, the government bypasses them entirely. Congress votes to send checks directly to your mailbox. The logic here is that if they put free money in your hand, you will spend it. If you spend it, businesses get revenue. If they get revenue, they stop firing people. They have to devalue the currency on purpose. They have to make you afraid that your cash is rotting, so you go out and spend it. How to protect yourself? 1. Pay off fixed debt. Most people focus on interest rates. In deflation, you have to focus on the principal. If you owe $50,000 on a student loan and deflation hits 5%, that debt effectively grows larger in real terms every year. You are paying back expensive dollars with cheap labor. Attack all debt immediately. In this environment, being debt-free isn't just peace of mind, it's the highest return on investment you can get. 2. Hoard cash. In inflation, cash is trash. In deflation, cash is a weapon. While everyone else is trying to sell their house, their stocks, and their cars to cover their debts, prices crash. If you are the only person holding cash, you become the kingmaker. Accumulate liquidity, but be careful. When the government finally turns on the money printer to fix this, you have to deploy that cash fast, or inflation will eat it alive. 3. Rent, don't buy. This hurts to hear, but buying a house during deflation is financial suicide. If you buy a house for $400,000 and prices drop 10% next year, you are now underwater. You owe the bank more than the house is worth. You are trapped. You can't sell and you can't move to find a new job. Renting gives you flexibility. If the economy collapses and you need to move to a new city for work, you can just hand over the keys and leave. Flexibility survives, rigidity breaks. Deflation creates a world where cash is king. It teaches you to hoard physical money because it grows in value every single day. But this creates a dangerous paradox. If you hoard enough cash, you eventually run into a logistics problem. You can't buy a house with a duffel bag of bills. You can't deposit $1 million into a bank without triggering a suspicious activity report. In this economy, having the cash is the easy part. Making that cash usable in the real world, that is the hard part. You have to take dirty physical liquidity and turn it into clean digital wealth. You have to understand the 3 stages: placement, layering, and integration. Next time, we are leaving the central bank and entering the shadow bank. We are going to break down the mechanics of the world's most expensive laundry service. If you want me to make more videos explaining economics topics, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching until the end.